What's up, guys? Matty here, mixandmastermysong.com. Today I'm going to show you how to master a hip-hop song using Ozone 9. Ozone 9 just came out, I think, last week. A lot of cool new features in it. I've been playing with it quite a bit just to see how it all works, and I found some really cool tips and tricks on some things you can use to help make your master sound better. So before we do get started, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's go. All right, guys, so here's a song we're working on. It's called Splurgin' by Nessie featuring D Gomes, a song I mixed and mastered recently. If you're interested in checking them out, there's some links in the description. So I got Ozone 9 loaded. I'm just going to bypass it, let you guys just hear this hook for a few seconds, just without the mastering at all, and then we'll get into it.
I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve it. Put them big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit.
So you get the idea. Pretty straightforward, dope hip-hop record. Really good record. So this is what we're going to do. Don't be afraid of this master assist. I think it's pretty cool and it can give you a good starting point. So I like to keep it on modern. I'm not much of a vintage guy. Intensity, I keep it on medium. You could try the reference thing. I don't know. I always feel like when you do the reference thing, you're kind of chasing something that's a whole different song. Not my favorite thing, but maybe it works for you. We're going to stick with streaming today. CDs actually, that's a whole nother debate, but CDs kind of getting loud for what streaming is now. And we're still kind of in this world of which way do we go, but we're going to stick with streaming levels today. Going to shoot for a -10 LUFS on this one. So you just click next and it says it's waiting to play, so we'll just play this and let it do its thing.
I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve it. Put them big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body just to flex. Tell me what you stick, round me if it left. Tell me what you stick, round me if it left. Yeah. No, I just look like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them.
Okay, we got what they spit out. Now, one thing I didn't mention right before I hit this, you guys always want to make sure you're doing this master assist during the loudest part of the song. So you can tell by the waveform where the hooks are, basically. And then there's some drops and stuff where the music goes down. So you want to be in the loudest part. That way, the master assist, knows where the loudest part is. Because otherwise, if you did it here, the limiter is going to make it way louder, and then when you come back to the loudest part, it's going to start distorting and stuff. So we got our master assist. This is kind of what it showed us needed to be done. Not much dynamics in the song, so they didn't even do the compressor, so we'll delete that. The maximizer, I'm going to do that later on, so I usually delete that as well. And then I'll check out the EQ and see what they showed us. I'm just going to play it and kind of recalculate some of these EQ moves and check it out. Now, another cool thing about this is, and I'll leave it on here for quite a bit of the time, is the gain match. So what that does is if we boost this by 2 dB as they have it boosted, it's going to sound better because it's going to be louder. So with mastering especially, you always, and anything really, you always want to make sure that you're gain matching so that just because it's louder doesn't make it sound better. And then you can bypass on and off this way here or just here individually. But I like to keep the gain match on so we can really tell what we're actually doing to the song. So the gain match is on. I'm just going to play it and kind of readjust some of these EQs.
I just look like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve it. Put them big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body just to flex. Tell me what you stick, round me if it left. Tell me what you stick, round me if it left. Yeah. Know what I cost, know what I did. Made you know I just look like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall.
All right, cool. So you see, I basically deleted a lot of the stuff it gave me, and that's fine. I liked what it kind of gave me, a little more mid-range, which I felt like maybe the record needed a little bit more. Wasn't really didn't really want to lose any highs or any low ends, so I just got rid of those altogether. I'll switch to dynamic EQ, and this is what it gave us here. So we're just going to kind of check through and listen to these and see if we like what it gave us or if we did.
I can't figure you out, but you take you to the mall and watch you spurge. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body just to flex. Tell me what you stick, round me if it left. Tell me what you stick, round me if it left. Yeah, yeah. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurge. Even in them times you don't deserve.
All right, cool. So I'm going to kill that. I'm going to keep this. I like it's taking out a little bit of the harshness in the vocal. This will keep, but we're going to bring it really low. I don't want it really doing much to my high end because I'm going to get some more high end later on. Okay, so that's that. So that's what we kept out of, you know, the master assist. So it got us started, and, you know, you guys might want to keep more. This is just kind of what my ears was telling me. Then what I like to do next is use this exciter, and I like to use it more in the mid-range, just to give the mid-range some excitement, because the mid-range is always where the ear is, right? So it's where our ears hear the most frequency, and the more excitement you can have in the mid-range, kind of the better the record's going to sound. So I'm just going to solo this guy. It's around 300 to like 3.2. And I'm going to use the tape. I like the tape setting. It gives it a little bit of warmth while adding some edge.
I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurge. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body.
So that sounds cool. So, you know, and I should mention here, with mastering shouldn't be about big, huge moves. It's really small things just to polish the record, pull it together a little tighter, and also make it, you know, a standard level for whatever you're delivering to, whether it be streaming, CD, Instagram. They all kind of take different levels these days, so you just kind of know where you're heading before you start. And that's why I said we're kind of going for a streaming thing, but a little bit louder. So if the client does play it on SoundCloud or something which doesn't have loudness changes, it will still, you know, kind of translate. So the excite, we're just going to use a little bit of that just to get a little more energy. And then next I like to use the imager, and here I like to use it more in the high end, just to give the hi-hats and the vocals a little more air and a little more space. It makes the record feel a little bit bigger sometimes to me. Doesn't always need it, but I think it will be cool on here. So
I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurge. Even in them times you don't deserve.
So that sounds pretty cool. Let's bypass that on and off and just kind of hear how we're building this mastering chain now.
I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurge. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit.
So sounded good. We're getting what we want. We push the mid-range a bit, getting a little more energy in the song. It's getting a little more of that kind of shine that we want. It's coming together pretty good. Next, one thing I want to make sure we don't lose too much kick, but I also want to pull it together a bit. So I like to use this vintage compressor, tack like around there, kind of a slow release, and just take off a dB or two just to pull the level, because that kick's really punching through. So I don't want to make the limiter work that hard. So I'm just going to pull it in a little bit just to help that kick push down.
I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurge. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body just to flex. Tell me what you stick, round me if it left. Tell me what you.
And then we're going to add some of that kick back with this new low-end focus, which is really cool. So I'm going to try it on smooth. And what low-end focus does is to me, I think it might just be some sort of transient design or EQ thing. Not really sure the magic, but it's pretty cool what it can do. and we're going to give it a little bit back right there.
Like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body just to flex. Tell me what you stick, run me if it left. Tell me what you stick, run me if it left. Yeah, yeah. Don't ride this look like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and
sounded good now. So I think we're almost there. One last thing I want to do, and it's a trick I learned. I like to add like some really high 20. Oh, this goes up to 20, but I usually do 25 on my Better Maker. Just boost up a little bit of the super high, you know, to give it a little more sparkle, make it cut through a bit more.
Like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body just to flex. Tell me what you stick, run me if it left. Tell me.
And I think what we'll do too is this, and we're using the backsole. I like the backsole curves just for these like broad stroke kind of things. Just gonna add a little bit more low end, back end.
Like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve.
So it sounds good to me. I like what we've done here. Lastly, it's just about the level now. So, you know, right now we're still at
like she been swerving. I can't figure you out.
Like -13 LUFS, and a lot of this can be ear. You can use the meters. I like to do a little bit of both, but just for standard practices here today, the cool thing is we can go to learn curve and put this to -9 LUFS and then click it.
Like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit.
And it gets us there really quick, which is pretty cool. I also like to bring the ceiling down to -0.3 just to make sure we don't get too many overs when it's transferring to the different codecs for streaming with Spotify and a couple of the other ones. And then the cool thing is you got a couple different modes here, so we can switch these around and hear what they sound like.
Like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. To the mall and watch you spurge. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little bit body just.
So that's something you could spend, you know, some good time on. This kind of sounded good just on the quick switch around. But yeah, so that's it. Let's take a listen to our final thing. And if we unclick the gain match, it would get louder, which is what, you know, the limiting does. I'm not going to do that just so I don't blow your ears out on YouTube. But check it out just with and without.
Like she been swerving. I can't figure you out, but you perfect. Take you to the mall and watch you spurgy. Even in them times you don't deserve. Put them big, big diamonds on your neck. Got a little.
So that's that, guys. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Ozone 9 is really, really cool, man. You can do a ton of stuff. I've been using it. So as you know, a lot of my mastering, I still kind of do some stuff analog. I've been using it after my analog stuff and sometimes before, just kind of depending what I want to do. But man, you can actually just master a record just with this. The analog stuff does give it a sound. If you're used to working with it, it's pretty sweet, but you don't need it, man. You can do it with this. And I don't think many of the actual consumers are going to hear the difference. We might hear the difference as engineers, but it's going to be tough for the consumer to probably tell the difference. So let me know what you guys think of Ozone 9. What's your favorite feature in the comments below. If you need your songs mixed and mastered, hit me up at mixandmastermysong.com. You can also find some of my presets and templates there as well. See you soon.